Did you hear the latest with Bachelor, the whole franchise, Bachelorette, Bachelor, Bachelor in Paradise? We know all the drama. We have just got confirmation that Corrine and DeMario Jackson will be returning to season 4 of Bachelor in Paradise after that whole sexual misconduct scandal that happened on set, which put everything to a halt. This was in June last month. But let's back up a little bit. When I say they're coming back, they're not returning to the entire season and being part of it, but they are returning for a 2-night special. So Bachelor in Paradise, it was supposed to premiere again, season 4, August 8th. Now it is going to kick off with the 2-night special starring Corrine and DeMario, assuming they're going to be talking about what happened and why everything came to a screeching halt with the production in Mexico. That special will kick off. The 2-night special will be the 14th and the 15th, airing right here, 8 p.m. On ABC. So we know that Bachelor in Paradise this season, they're spending 6 weeks in Mexico. But let's back up again and talk about why the show was put to a halt, right? In terms of production. Corrine and DeMario, they were involved in an on-set sexual encounter scandal that caused the filming to say, you know what, the people who are behind the scenes, we're going to file a complaint because something happened that we weren't comfortable with. The show shut down in June. Warner Brothers eventually cleared Bachelor in Paradise of any wrongdoing after the initial investigation. Corrine and the team and her team, right? I know, Dina, you were on this from the very beginning. They went on to pursue an investigation, but then eventually, for whatever reason, decided to put a halt to that as well. We know that reputations have been really stained since then. So is the damage already done, even if they come on the show for this 2-night special and clear things up? I'm curious to know what it is they're going to say. But since then, if you're wondering, okay, they're coming back, is that right or wrong? Is it too soon? There have been changes to the show that have been implemented since the sexual misconduct scandal took place. So I guess there's a 2-drink per hour maximum now on the show, and this is a decision that Corrine has given a thumbs up to. So it's interesting that they're taking this and they are putting their own spin on it to say, okay, we're making some positive changes to hopefully halt anything from happening like this again on the show. They did release, what we're looking at right now is a new promo video. Is this the new promo? Can we get from producer Billy? Okay, let's go ahead and put up the new promo video for season 4. And in it, we don't see a lot of or any alcohol, sexual encounters at all.
Yeah, they don't show anybody.
Okay, do you think that was a smart move?
They show 2 cast members, but they're like, woohoo, we're back.
It looks real, just real clean.
So in the past, the promos for Bachelor in Paradise have been
saucy, right?
It's very much like spoof. It's like, we're running on the beach and we fall and the waterfalls, and they do that intentionally. It's very overly exaggerated to be funny and comical. But this is literally just a couple of interviews where the cast members in front of the camera saying we're back, and then it shows all of the tweets and all of the Facebook posts from the audience of viewers who have said, yay, Bachelor in Paradise is back.
And how devastated they were that
when
it was
got taken away.
Over and we didn't know
But the tone is very much like, it almost was lost and we almost never had it again, but we're back. And so it's I think a little distasteful, kind of. But
is that what the show is based on?
Right.
Taste?
But I'm glad that they chose at least not to show people drinking and kissing in the promo, because I think that would have been incredibly poor judgment on their end.
A slap in the
everything
face.
going on. Just, you don't need to go there right now. So they kept they kept it very clean for the promo, which I think was a smart marketing move for sure.
I thought it was a hot mess. I thought the promo was a hot mess. No, the promo.
There it is.
Here it is. It starts off really dark. I don't know if you guys can
literally
have sound,
thunderstorms, raining.
Okay, do we have
No,
sound?
he says we don't have sound.
Okay, so it starts off really dark, like the paradise was almost ruined.
There it is.
And they're like, oh my God, we're back. So happy and excited. You know, they have tweets from viewers that are like, yay, whoopie-de-doo. So
nothing happened.
My problem with it is it starts off really bad, like, yeah, Paradise was almost ruined. And then it's like, woohoo, we're back. We're back. And it made it seem like Paradise was almost ruined because there was bad weather in Cabo or somebody caught the flu. Yeah, everybody got the little stomach virus and now we're back. No, it was halted because there was a sexual assault claim that happened on set. Oh, but to me, it made it seem like, oh, just a pesky little sexual assault claim. We're back and having fun. I thought it was very distasteful, and it kind of sidestepped over everything that happened, because again, people's reputations are destroyed off of this. I don't care if it came out that nothing happened, investigation was clear, the internet lives forever, and public perception always leads the charge regardless of what happens, or if you're convicted or charged, or if something really went down and we found out about. Public perception has taken over. So for this, I'm like, wait.
But here,
okay,
let's back up to the beginning. And I get that, and I think it was a slap in the face to people like DeMario, who lost his job because of this claim that there was sexual misconduct that had occurred on set and put everything to a halt. But my only reaction to that is, okay, well, let's back up and talk about the moment you decided to be part of this franchise, part of this show. The show, and there's a lot of editing that goes on. At any point, when you get alcohol, adults, and the freedom
and cameras
they do a
lot for
and
cameras.
The freedom to have, I mean, the whole point of this is to have relationships spark up in paradise. I would think that those involved in the show from the get-go would know and would have to really sit and think about it. Is my reputation, is my job, is all of that worth losing? I mean, it didn't even have to be a sexual misconduct thing that happened on the set that would ruin reputation. Just the fact of one person kissing more than one person in a set number of weeks could ruin a reputation. I mean, you have to think about that, and at what price are you willing to pay to lose all of that from the get-go? So I don't want to sit here, if I'm ABC, if I'm Bachelor in Paradise, this is exactly what I'm going to do to make sure that my show survives. Is it in the best interest of the people affected? Maybe not, but everyone has to look out for themselves at some point.
I also want to bring the point up, because I've been looking at so many of your social comments on Corrine's pages and DeMario's pages and on Twitter and online. And the reputation of Corrine Olympios was not great going into Bachelor in Paradise. Did that mean that we needed to write off her sexual misconduct claim right off the get-go? Of course not. But they investigated and they found that there was no sexual misconduct, at least from their investigation. They looked at video evidence, they talked to producers, they talked to other cast members. So at this point, yes, I understand. DeMario has been slandered. His name has been put out there in very poor recognition, and now he's going to have to fight really hard to say, hey, that claim was never deemed to be the truth. They never could find anything out of that. He and Corrine were both invited to go back onto Bachelor in Paradise, which I thought was an interesting move to ask them to come back, but they both declined. Great. I think that that's the best thing for them. Coming back to the reunion show. So that's all they're going to be doing. They're going to be coming back to the reunion. Special, Who knows at what capacity? It literally might be one of them comes out on the stage alone, says what they think happened, go back in. The next one comes out on the stage. It doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be together. They're going to have a conversation.
This is the first time they will be seen together, not necessarily.
But it's not until the end of the summer, so they could see each other between now and then. Who knows?
That's how they're framing it.
And they could also choose between now and then to change their mind. So I'm kind of taking it with a grain of salt that they've agreed.
Do you think they can? I mean, they sign a contract. If they're promoting it this way, I can't imagine ABC says you can pull out. It's going to come at a hefty cost of some sort.
If they already said they're on board to do it, they're on board to do it. However, in regards to responding to Megan's comment, I understand the concept that if you're on a certain type of show, then there's certain reputations or certain perceptions that can be tied to that. I totally get that. However, no show that we've seen, as far as what I can remember, has ever had the stipulation or the dark cloud under that you could potentially be accused of sexual assault. So if you come on the show, you need to be able to understand that could happen. That nobody would sign up for anything like that. To me, that's kind of
like that because no one's going to sign up for it.
It's the concept of, yes, there's drinking and yes, there's kissing, yes, people have sex, but that does not mean that as someone who signs on to be on that show, you should take on the idea that, well, maybe something could get out of hand to the point where I'd be accused of sexual assault.
I think you absolutely have to take that into consideration.
But you are an adult, but to me, that's like the short skirt you were asking for a comment. You wore short skirt, and people gravitated towards your legs. You had the short skirt on. You knew what you were doing when you wore the sexy clothes.
But you have to remember, when these people come on these shows, they already know from their experience on The Bachelor and The Bachelorette, because they're not coming on brand new to television and reality TV. They know that everything they say, there is the option of the editing team oh, we're
but you don't have control.
Corrine has gone on to say, ABC made me look like a witch, when really there were so many conversations that she said she had with Nick that they didn't show, and they made her look kind of like the, you know, deceitful, really overly sexual girl, which she did do those things. We can't say that she didn't, and that's what they chose to focus on. So these people know, though, if you're going to be presenting yourself in front of cameras where millions of people are going to have access to it, and you want a real career after this, hold yourself accountable.
A real career is not the same as being accused of sexual assault. And being perceived as someone who is, quote unquote, a slut is not the same as saying, rumor has it that you sexually assaulted a woman on Bachelorette in Paradise. That's not the same thing. That you can't be held to the same standard, because if you were considered loose, yes, you're considered loose and people may slut shame you or you may be deemed in a bad light, but a potential sexual assault claim changes the complete trajectory of your future and your life. And we've seen that now and history has shown that. So to me, it's bigger than just saying you knew what you were getting into by coming on this show. Yes, you knew that it could be some scandalous situations, but nobody would sign up for this show thinking that, I could potentially be accused of
I think I could disagree with that, but my question is next, why do you think then DeMario has chosen to then appear on a 2-night special, still involved with Bachelor in Paradise, instead of pursuing investigation?
Because he needs to do whatever he has to do to clear his name.
He has to do
whatever he has to do to clear his name.
I haven't heard from him. I know that Corrine has come out and said, I'm going to back up here and try to find this. She came out with a statement saying, I am also happy about these changes. She's talking about that 2-drink per hour maximum, a decision that she agreed with. I am also happy about the changes that have been made to the production of Bachelor in Paradise. While I am extremely grateful for the opportunity to have been a participant on The Bachelor, and while I was invited to return to Bachelor in Paradise when production resumed, I respectfully made the decision not to return. DeMario could have come out with a statement as well. We can dig for that right now. That wasn't in a couple of the articles I had read, but I'm interested to know, why should we try to understand what it is he's feeling or the pain that he's going to have to endure when he is okay, well, I'm going to still be part of this project. When he could just put his hands up and say, no, this is wrong. I'm going to try to get all the attention in a positive light because my reputation and me losing my job means that much. Instead, he's going back to the place where he got in trouble.
So if you were accused of something and now you Google your name and it's tied to a potential sexual assault claim, you wouldn't do whatever you needed to do to clear your name?
I would investigate. I would further the investigation.
But they had an investigation already. And it said that they found no wrongdoing, but that does not negate public perception and your reputation
go back to the place
being destroyed,
where they can edit around me again.
So you would just let them. No, you would let them say what they want to say about.
No, I would come out with my own statement.
He did. So let me share this with you. Okay. He posted on Instagram 6 days ago. Okay. And it's a long quote. He says that, as Jay-Z once said, in order to experience joy, you need pain. And then he goes on to say, June 11th is the day that I will never forget. So it must have been the day this happened. He said, I remember crying and asking God, why me, why me? Then my pop reminded me that God wouldn't put anything on my plate I couldn't handle. With help from my family and friends and an amazing team, I'm able to experience joy of life again. Thanks for the positive vibes, text messages, calls, blah, blah, blah. And then he says, thank you. If you can take anything away from my experience, I want it to be the change that you want to see in the world, and love it. And so now everyone is going back, proud of you. Wow, thank you for saying this. Amen. Like I don't think that his reputation is as damaged as we think it could have been. I really don't. I think because of who Corrine was at the time, because the investigation found that nothing happened, and because the Bachelor in Paradise show is back, clearly it wasn't as bad. This is why in this country you're innocent until proven guilty. When the allegations came out, yes, his name was thrown out there and squashed. I truly believe he will come back from this. I really do.
Okay,
I'm glad you think that.
I do.
I'm glad you think, because are you saying this as a Bachelor viewer, or as someone coming into a situation hearing that there was a potential sexual assault case against a man versus a woman?
Well, with sexual misconduct.
Sexual misconduct. So is this as a Bachelorette viewer, knowing Corrine and seeing what you've seen, or someone who is just meeting DeMario firsthand, looking up, oh, let me search DeMario, and seeing this and saying, ooh, I'm not dealing with that drama. Ooh, yeah, you got to be a certain type of person to get involved in something like that. And then X, cut it out. Relationship done. Don't want to deal with you. Don't want to.
I guess time will tell.
Well, DeMario has the most recent statement, and we have it for you. On July 9th, DeMario told TMZ that he'll be back for Bachelor in Paradise and the Bachelorette's reunion show, even if he won't resume filming season 4 of the spinoff. He goes on to say, "I'm doing the Men Tell All for the Bachelorette, and I'll be doing Paradise as well," he said. "I owe it to my castmates. They have been very supportive of me throughout this whole entire thing, and I want to thank them all personally, face to face, give them all hugs and bro out or sis out or whatever. They've been so helpful." So if you're going back into the conversation we were just having with Cornelia, where you asked me what would I be doing, would I just let this go, I wouldn't be going back to bro out and sis out with my castmates when I still have an investigation to pursue.
The investigation's over.
It's over.
But couldn't you keep pushing? I mean, I would just try to keep pushing it to help my reputation.
But this is the thing.
But what's left?
The investigation is over, and it came out. The point is not what the investigation said, because the investigation said on behalf of Warner Bros. It's clean. The investigation, so there's no need to pursue. My point is, once you are accused of something, yes, we live in a society where you're supposed to be innocent until proven guilty. But we've seen time and time again that that is not the case. People are automatically assumed to be a criminal before there's even a judge and a jury. So yes, there was an investigation. Yes, the investigation said that there was no wrongdoing. And yes, that's what we know. However, going forward, once there's a stigma attached to your name, same with Corrine. Now Corrine is considered a slut. And I'm doing the air quotes. So what do you do at that point? Do you try to clear your name? Do you try to put a bow tie on and make yourself look like you're super buttoned up, or do you just do nothing?
So Robin Grossman says, "I agree that he will too. Come on, it's with Corrine." So I'm assuming that means you agree that he'll have his reputation deemed as better eventually. Douglas said, "Agreed. I would go back to clear my name. It's clear that she instigated the situation, drunk or not. He has the worst tarnish at this point." And a lot of people, some people are curious about the whole 2 drink per hour minimum too, which
like
I'm
how are they going
about.
to maximum? Yeah.
And Douglas said it's about character at this point. So now, how will he present himself on the Men Tell All? How will he present himself on the reunion?
Or try to sue ABC for defamation? I mean, there are other ways in which I'm saying an investigation can go on.
If somebody is accused of doing something this badly, sexual misconduct, how often are they getting an opportunity to go in front of a national audience, international audience, and make some form of a right for themselves? He is being given ABC is giving him the opportunity, and he is taking that opportunity to come back and show us who he really is, because we know that in his season on the Bachelorette, he also didn't look great because he had a girlfriend, apparently. So he's being given an opportunity to do this. After Men Tell All, after Bachelor in Paradise, we'll see what happens to his reputation, but I think he does have a great chance to say, this is who I really am, and change as a person, and hopefully move forward in a better way.
We'll see what happens.